So a lot of stuff happened this year, I think in 2023 that, hey, we've got to start putting some lines in the sand and we need to start figuring out where we want to be forever. One of the biggest things that come up for us is the culture, right? And a lot of people, that's a buzzword people like to talk about now, but it really comes down to the core values that we see and the standards that we want from the people in our camp. We need to know that when you come to Proven, you're going to have the same core values that we believe in. Because if we're going to go and we're going to put our necks out in giving you the best product that we know we have, because we know how to make champions, right? It's been done over and over again. We've got the best guy sitting right here that can do it, but we need to have that feedback from you and that buy-in when it comes to some of our pillars, right? So hard work and dedication, accountability and communication, and just having a champion's mindset when it comes down to that. And I think that's our biggest goal moving forward. And those conversations are really hard, but we need to kind of lay the law down when it comes to some of that. And people aren't always going to like it. We know our training camp's going to look different every single year. But when it comes down to the sport, there's things that we just can't bend on. What we did dig into a little bit more is kind of the communication and accountability aspect. And that goes across the board for everybody, because when we start diving into these bigger camps, like you've seen a couple pop up now that we've already talked about that have tons of games athletes, it comes down to how you can individually serve people, even though they're on a team of 10 individuals, right? Like they're all competitors at the end of the day, whether they're men or women. So we are going to give them what we think is best for them. But at the end of the day, like this is their profession, this is their lifestyle. They've got to be able to communicate with us and take accountability for what's happening.
Saxon on Savan's show saying that he felt he was overtrained. Is it off the back of those kind of things that you're saying, okay, we need more feedback, we need more, like we need to know more day to day, so that those kind of conversations are happening between coach and athlete and not between athlete who's left and media or whatever?
Yeah, I think for us, this was the first time in two and a half years that we had really had a failure, to be honest with you. Like, I hate to say it that way, but all of our athletes from the minute we started in 2021 to 2020, halfway through 2022, had always been going in a direction that looked like they were improving. They were doing better at the games. Everything we had been doing from the coaches' side looked like it had been going right. And obviously, I think this year, with Tia being away and maybe Shane, like you said before, being away a little bit more, it may have exposed a little bit there because, hey, we had two athletes that got hurt. We don't know what happened here. We know the day-to-day what happened, and we didn't see much going on there. But, yeah, maybe it could be reactionary there. But if we don't take the opportunity to kind of look back on those things, that's how we don't grow. So I think that's where this comes from. So this can never happen again. Obviously, injuries are a part of the sport, and we can never get away from that no matter what can happen. But we do want to make sure that we're professionals in mitigating those risks however we can.
Is it worrying when it's the same injury, like when two people suffer the same injury? Is that like does that make you stop and pause?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest marker there. I think what Nick's alluding to of like a lesson to be learned there and working backwards to work out what that trigger could have been and what the overworked scenario or movement may have been. And we've done some capturing and seen some of those trends leading into the competition as well. And that's the reality, right? When they announce workouts 3 weeks out or 2 weeks out, the athlete wants to do it 1,000 times. And I think that we find that with some personalities just want to keep testing these workouts. And that's that transparency Nick's talking about, of making sure that we have that open communication of like, hey, like, here's your training plan. Like, did you do anything yesterday that could impact that? Or how does your body feel? And they're the conversations that we need to be more open up with the athletes, and having that that communication line free open with the coaches.